All right, we are recording now. Okay, so I just wanted to jump on here. For those of you guys who were not able to make it to convention this year, and just kind of give a little recap of everything that went on, and then have some people that want to jump on here and just kind of give their takeaways and just kind of try to give as much information to you guys as possible without making you guys feel bad that you weren't there. Because it was incredible. So this was my fourth convention that I have been to, and it was by far the absolute best convention. And really, I think the reason why is because the company is really taking us to new levels, and that's just going to happen. So I fully anticipate that next year's convention is going to be better than this year's, which is really, really hard to say, considering how incredibly amazing this was. And so it kind of feels like it's going to be hard to top when they titled this convention the Legacy Convention. But I think what it's doing is it's really setting that foundation of really showing where Plexus is going in the future. And so that was just really neat. It was really special, of just everything that is coming. Like, I think we don't even have a clue as to where, like, what's coming, but this was a really great picture to show that we're going into really, really, really great places. So one thing that I want to do real quick before we get into like the day-to-day of what happened in each session and just kind of some of the little nuggets that we took away from that, I want to touch on Leaders Retreat real quick. Because this is something that is achievable for every single person on the team that wants it. I would set your goals really high. I love Les Brown always says, aim for the, what is it? Shoot for the moon. And if you miss, you'll land among the stars. I'm totally butchering that, but it's true. Like, you shoot for it, you go for it. And if you fall short, you will still see significant growth in your business. And there's a very good possibility that when you shoot for the moon or whatever, like, that you end up surprising yourself and you get so much further than where you ever expected. I think that has been what has happened to me for every single Leaders Retreat contest that I've been part of and every single convention contest. I set a really crazy high goal. Part of me, honestly, I'll be real honest, didn't believe that it could happen, but I worked hard for it every single time, and I ended up always shooting past my goal. So it might be a little bit natural for your brain to say, I can't do that, but I think that everybody that's on this call and everybody that went to convention will say that they have seen firsthand that anything is possible with this business and in this company. So, don't beat yourself up if your mindset is not where it needs to be, because we can always, always, always get better. So, yeah, so I don't, hold on. Get those muted. Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to go big into Leaders Retreat contest, but I do just want to touch upon one more time too that jewels are not going to Leaders Retreat. So that opens up a ton of spaces. And it's a cruise to the Bahamas. And I'm kind of like, what? Because, like, I've been to Washington, D.C., I've been to Dallas, and I have been to Orlando for Leaders Retreat, and I have never had an opportunity to go to the Bahamas. So I'm kind of a little bit jealous here. But I don't need to sit here and tell you all of the details about Leaders Retreat contest, because we had wonderful emails describing everything with FAQs and all of that kind of stuff. And then also, there's lots of information on the team pages. But if you guys have any questions, make sure that you either reach out to your upline or reach out to me, and seriously, like, get a plan in place, because I just have to reiterate it one more time that it is absolutely 100% achievable, and it does not matter where you are at in your business. Like, that is the one thing that you have got to get out of your mind. It does not matter where you're at in your business. If you decide today that you want to be there on that cruise, I absolutely believe that you will be able to get there. So that's my little plug-in for Leaders Retreat. The next thing that I want to talk about real quick that they announced on our last day was the incentive for June. It's the 369 incentive. So it's really just a fun little contest. And this contest is going to help you reach your Leaders Retreat contest goals as well. So basically, if you sign 3 ambassadors or 3 customers with 75 PV or more, or a combination of both, right? Like you can have 1 ambassador and 2 customers, or 2 ambassadors and 1 customer. Did I just repeat what I said? I don't know. Anyways, 3. If you get 3, you're going to get this beautiful beach towel. I don't have a graphic for it. It's on the team page. And then if you sign up 6, you get the beach towel and a pineapple pool float. And if you do 9, a combination of 9, you get the towel, you get the tote or the float, and you get a really nice like cooler. And I think it's like a soft body cooler. Like the outside is soft. It looks really, really nice. So I love it when they do these little incentives for us and reward us just for doing our job, right? Like just for going out there and sharing Plexus with people. And that is going to help with the convention contest, or I'm sorry, Leaders Retreat contest. And then I'm not going to talk about the Consistency Club because that starts in July. So I'll probably do a live video and be posting a lot more information about the Consistency Club here later. But basically, they have revamped it. We've never really put a whole lot of emphasis on it because just because it was such a long period of time, right? Like it was over a long period of time. You had to earn it like 7 times out of 12, or nobody was ever super clear on it. And it was just kind of an afterthought. And so the way that they've revamped this, it's in these little 3-month chunks. And I love the prizes that they have. And it is so incredibly doable. So I'm not going to go into that, but just be on the lookout because Consistency Club is great. And it's going to help just help you with a balanced business between having customers and ambassadors. Is the June incentive contest really only through the 23rd? I don't know. I thought it was through, I'll look at it later. Somebody can look it up. I thought it was through the end of the month, but Jen might be right. So
no, it's only through the 23rd because I remember saying to Jen Cass, I'm surprised it's not through the end of the month, but it started on the 9th. So Saturday the 9th through the 23rd.
Good to know. So it's not backdated to the 1st? Well,
I don't think so. I could be wrong on that though.
Okay. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Not the Consistency Club. Enroll. Here we go. I just got it. It started June 9th and will end June 30th. So it does go through the 30th. Upgrades do not count. Yeah. Upgrades don't count for that one. So they have to be new people. But that's okay. We can do that. Not a big deal at all. Okay. Okay, so that was all the important like info that I didn't want us to like miss out on. Okay, so on to convention. So the very first day, and this is where y'all, if you were there and I missed something, help me out here. So for those of you guys that weren't at convention, like I said, we've got some people on here who were at convention, and I have asked them later on, they're going to give their takeaways and just share a little bit with you guys. But I also asked them to chime in if I forget something, or if I just don't explain something very well, because there was so much goodness and I know that I'm missing. I'm already starting to miss things and forget things. And so I took lots of notes, but I know that they took lots of notes too. So on our first day, what's really neat is they introduced us to 2 of our newest employees, and I don't even remember their titles, so bear with me here. But we have a new guy named Christopher Pear, and a new lady called named Janice Jackson. And these two people are very, very well immersed in network marketing. They've been with other companies before, very, very successful companies. And they got to share their stories as to why they love network marketing and then also why they chose Plexus. And those stories in themselves, guys, I am working so hard to find videos, because I did not record videos, but just to get videos that have been uploaded to YouTube, because I think it's really important that you guys hear this, because Alec and Tarl are incredible leaders, and they understand the importance of surrounding themselves with really, really good people. I don't want to say that are better than them, but that are highly skilled. And it just speaks volumes that people are actually coming to Plexus. Like they're seeking out Plexus because they see what we're doing. They see the vision of the company, the heart of the company, and they want to be involved in that. So Christopher Pear, he was actually the CEO of Herbalife. Am I right? Did I say that right? Of Herbalife. He actually sold the company and retired and ended up coming in to Plexus, but he is going to be overseeing all of our international markets and stuff. And basically what his strengths are opening new markets within network marketing companies. So he knows his stuff. He knows how to do it. He's worked with billion-dollar companies, and he said that all international sales typically come from 10 countries, of all of the other countries. And he said that in the next 10 years, he plans on being in every single one of those top 10 countries. So Plexus is definitely on the track to be in a bunch of countries. We are called Plexus Worldwide for a reason. We just opened in Canada, and next is going to be Australia. And Melanie, I know that you're on here, and I know that you were talking with Laura a bunch, and I still personally don't know exactly what that means for you guys, but I can only imagine that being so close, and you guys have always gone hand in hand together, that it's going to make a significant impact. So I believe that's happening in 2019. But it's just exciting to see this. And I know that like with the opening of Canada, it was kind of confusing because we're like, well, we already have Canadian ambassadors, just like we already have Australian and New Zealand ambassadors. I don't understand what this means that they're opening in another country. Basically, they have, just like we have the FDA, each country has their own health thing that regulates supplements and food and drug just like ours. And so and typically, unfortunately, for the United States, other countries have much stricter guidelines, which kind of makes me sad for the US that we don't have stricter guidelines. And so what that means basically is that the fact that Health Canada has approved our products, that speaks volumes. And so we should be very proud that even though the FDA doesn't approve our products, we have other countries that their health system is, and that's just huge. So just as we open new markets, that's kind of the process or part of the process that they have to go through. So it's exciting that we get to do that. The other thing too that we got to learn is the different medical advisory board, and I think that is so key. I'm not even going to tell you who their names are, or even what their credentials are. But like when they were announcing who these people, these doctors were, and hearing where they came from. I mean, one of the doctors comes from John Hopkins, and their specialty of like gastroenterologists and just like brilliant people, and they are on our medical advisory board. Like they are watching, they're making sure that we're getting good products and that they're actually doing something super special for our bodies. So that just should build your belief even further in our products. So those are the type of things that I personally love learning about and kind of getting that like inside look into the behind the scenes things, because we know that we go out and we just tell people about Plexus. We share it, we love it, we use the products, but we don't always get to hear the behind the scenes and the processes of how they're developing products and why they're developing them in a certain way, and just that they really are unique and special and cutting edge and really the best of the best. So does anybody want to have anything to add to that while I read Melanie's little chat note? And I know that for the recording, you guys can't see this, so I'm going to read it to myself, and then I'll share with you what she says about international stuff. So if anybody wanted to add to the medical advisory board stuff or anything I said, go for it. Okay, nobody's talking, so I'm just going to tell you what Melanie said, and this is huge, guys, like really huge, okay? So she says opening down under will mean that we're able to advertise products publicly and not just the business opportunity. We're also hoping it means that there will be a distribution center in Australia, which will cut the shipping cost for them, amongst other great things. So that is the thing too. For those of you guys that don't know a whole lot about the other countries, both Canada and Australia and New Zealand, they are not allowed to publicly talk about the products or post on Facebook. Am I right, Melanie? Could you guys post on Facebook about products? Not about products. So they could only talk about the business. So this is huge for their businesses, and it's huge for if you guys know people in these countries, talk to them, because this is absolutely huge for them. So great big things are coming. We talked a little bit about Joyome on the first day. Again, we had some Plexus testimonies, which will absolutely blow your mind. I am kicking myself for not recording. Did anybody record these Pleximonies? Anybody that's here? Nobody? We were so just involved in everything that you just want to soak it in to where you're not recording, because everybody's recording, right? And so you're like, oh, I'll just get the video from somewhere else. Anyways, so I promise you, if I get these recordings, I will share them with you. Am I missing anything from day one? Anything at all?
I think you nailed it, but I think you're right too. I didn't record. Well, my phone was not holding a charge, so it died all the time while I was there. But I think that's one of the most special things you get at convention is you are there in the moment. And I don't even think about recording because I'm so just on the edge of my seat, encapsulated with every single word that's dripping off of their mouth, so I don't think about doing recordings. I saw tons of cell phones up, so I'm sure there's, like you said, check YouTube later, someone got something. But yeah, those Pleximony testimony things that they get up on there, man, I needed Kleenex for this convention and I did not bring Kleenex. So I'll be doing that next year. I did. I felt like I was trying not to sob in certain ones. It was great. So good.
It was good. And then on the first night we had winners dinner. And for those of you guys that are newer ambassadors, when we have a convention contest, there's different prizes that you can earn. And so winners dinner is one of them, and it's just a big fancy dinner, and people get dressed up and they go and have fun, and you dance and listen to music and eat good food. So that was a lot of fun. So that was the first night. And then the second day, I've got some stuff. So early in the morning, they talked about something that's brand new with Plexus. So Plexus, I'm sure you guys have always seen they'll always do a different fundraisers. So our military kids, we've done stuff where they would take so many a certain percentage of the sales would be donated to our military kids. And then we've done Plexus has done different walks during Hurricane Harvey. They sent a team out to come help with cleanup and help at the Salvation Army. And just over the years, they have done a lot of, the breast cancer walk. Every year at Leaders Retreat, they do a breast cancer walk. So Plexus is very involved in the community. They did, I think last year, they did backpacks. They donated a ton of backpacks to schools and filled it with school supplies. So they're always looking for ways that they can help in the community. And Marianne Luciano, I always forget people's titles, but Marianne Luciano, she works at corporate, very, very special lady. Hold on just a second. She has a real heart for charities. Yeah, you can have that. And so something that they started new this year is and somebody's going to have to help me because I was kind of in and out during this part, but they have a new section in Plexus that's going to be all about charities. They formed a 501c3. And the first charity that the first thing that they started with was an organization called Feeding America, and they gave them $100,000 to that organization. And the other thing that's really cool as they're partnering with them is that for every bag of lean, which I'm going to talk about our newest product, lean, they're donating 14 meals for every single bag of lean that is sold. And so they said that they had, on the very first day that they opened up lean to be sold or to be bought, it resulted in 130,000 meals in one day. So we have an opportunity to make a significant impact. And I think that, Jen, you are just chomping at the bit right now. Can you share? Because I know that this hits really close to home for you.
Yes, it does. I was a mess. I was an absolute mess. Like, it's right on my heart. Like me, I feed kids. I mean, that's what I do. I'm a head cook at a school, and the last day of school was not that exciting for some of these kids because they're scared to death. They don't know where they're going to get their food. They know their parents don't have the money for it. And so I work every summer, to help give back. Yes, the money's nice, but kind of keeps me busy too. But these kids come in and they eat, and the federal government is generous enough to provide these meals. But this whole organization, this charity, this Feeding America, what they're doing is so impactful for these families to not worry about their next meal, because there are mothers going to bed at night not knowing what they're going to feed their kids the next morning. And there's times where I say, oh my God, we have nothing in the house, but I can still figure something out. I mean, like, I've never been in that position. Christopher Pear was up on stage choking back tears, telling his story about when he was a little boy, how he used to dig through the trash can and collect enough cans just to get something, just to get some meal, like even one little meal. And what really got me was when he was talking about how he was digging in the dumpster and he found that chocolate cake, and it was like an entire cake with the lid still on it, hadn't even been touched. And he opened up the lid and he put his finger and just right into the frosting, like every kid wants to do. And his dad scolded him and said, no, we are better than that. That is not who we are. And he said his dad said that because he was ashamed. He was ashamed of the position that he had put his family in, that they're digging in trash cans. Like, I'm sure that's a normal thing for a lot of kids. I'm sure it's a normal thing for a lot of people. So to know that this company is giving back, and they're not just doing that for like a little while, like that's forever. For every bag that gets sold, they are donating those meals. Like, I'm blown away. It just absolutely made my heart burst. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. So that just gives you kind of a little peek, like I said, especially for the newer ambassadors, just a little peek into the heart of our company, and just, having an impact beyond just our own personal use of the products and what they're doing for us and, the people that we're sharing with, but, like Jen said, like people who have no clue where their next meal is coming from. So it's just something really special. And I know that this is just the beginning. Like, they started this Plexus Charities, so that they could do more stuff, not just one organization. They want to impact so many things. And it goes back to what Alec always says, our president. He always says, if you're blessed, be a blessing. And, the company is on its way to being $1 billion company. And, we're just going to be able to do even more things. And the reason why it's becoming $1 billion company is because of the ambassadors. So every single person, wholesale or working the business, every single person that is involved in Plexus is making an impact beyond what I think they even realize. So I think that's just something super special and something to be proud of.
I wanted to add really quick, one bag of lean is feeding 14, it's like 14 families. Am I correct? It's one, because there's 14 servings in lean.
Yeah. It's so, one meal for,
per serving. So,
yeah. So it's significant. It's really cool. So for those of you guys that weren't there, and maybe you haven't checked your emails or team pages, because I've even talked to some ambassadors that still have no clue what the new product is, and I'm like, how do you not know what the new product is yet? So this lean that we're talking about is a meal replacement, and I'm not going to go into nitty-gritty details of anything really at all, but I'm just really excited about it. It's meant to be a weight management tool, but I personally see it as so much more, because yes, there are people who are not eating very well and they need to have like a good nutritious meal. So the vitamins and minerals and everything that's in it is pretty incredible. I had never looked at the label until today, and I was actually pretty blown away. So all of the vitamins that are in there are methylated as well. And so people with that MTHFR gene mutation are going to get significant source of vitamins from this. It's got 20 grams of protein. It's dairy and soy free. So a lot of people who were not able to use the P96 protein shakes can now take this. It's made with pea protein. I have all the pictures of all the sciencey reasons why it's so great. But I couldn't tell you that right now. It's still so new, but it's supposedly really great. And then we've got digestive enzymes in it. So that's just going to help with digestion and help break down all kinds of good stuff and make your stomach feel good. And then it does have prebiotics. And you know what I just found out based on the, I didn't know this because they didn't, maybe they did. Maybe I was just so excited about it I wasn't paying attention. But the prebiotics that are in it are actually, oh, I didn't get a thing. But I think it's the same prebiotic, the XOS. I think. Is it the same XOS that's in?
I think so. Yeah, it's because he said I don't know how to pronounce it, oleosaccharide, but then he said two other ones. I'm pretty sure that's one of them.
Yeah, because he was talking about how it's going to feed the good ones and it will not feed the bad ones, and that's what the XOS does. And that I saw that on the label. So that's what's really cool, especially for people who are like super excited about Hunger Control Slim, but a little bit not disappointed, but a little bit sad that they weren't getting the XOS anymore because they're like, oh, which one do I do? So now if you're drinking the lean, you're getting the XOS from that, and then you can still do your hunger control and get your hunger control from that. So one of the things that I'm really excited about with the lean is for my girls. Yeah, go watch a movie. Because my girls are competitive gymnasts, and when they come home from school, we do not have time for them to sit down and eat a nutritious meal before they go off to practice. And then they take like some really cruddy, like maybe they take a protein bar and like some goldfish, plug your ears. But I mean, like, and they're eating that like during dinner time. And so I'm like, to be able to give them something that's this nutritious with this high of protein for them that they don't like, that's not going to be heavy on their stomachs right before they go to practice. I'm like, it can't get here soon enough. So as you guys are talking to people about this or even thinking about it for yourself, like, don't think just weight management. Okay. Like, I know that athletes tomorrow night, we're going to have me and Laura Holzman are on the Let's Get Healthy testimonial page, and we're going to be talking about the 3 new products for all of our potential. So make sure that you guys are inviting people to that call tomorrow night. But she's going to talk from an athlete's perspective as well as to why she is so excited about this new product. So yes, it's called Lean. Yes, a lot of people are going to be very, very excited about it for weight management, but don't miss out on all of the other health benefits that this can provide for you, especially like travel. I know a lot of people have been saying, it's not in, the individual packets like the P96, and how do I travel with it? Like, just get a little, actually, I just saw on Amazon, there are these blender bottles that have a little container that's like pops onto the bottom, and that's where you put your protein powder. You put it there, and then you just bring the whole bottle with you. So I think that's better. And you can put it like in, like I said, little Tupperware if you're going to be gone for more than a day for travel purposes. But I'm super excited about Lean. And then, of course, we have the new hunger control. Oh, yeah, see, look at Jenny's got one right there. So that's where you would put the powder in, and it sits there. Wait, where did you get that at convention?
Yeah, they had them in the store.
Oh,
Yeah, right? I know.
I did not know that.
We're talking about this, and I'm thinking, didn't she see the blender bottle?
No.
Or you can get it on Amazon too.
Amazon works, but then it doesn't say lean.
Right.
Anyways, well, there you go.
Well, I was going to just say real quick too. So I was sitting by Laura. Yes, that call tomorrow night's going to be awesome because if she's backing this, I mean, she was so impressed with it. And I thought, okay, that's it. I'm sold. The other thing too, Rachel, you were telling me about your grandpa. Like you were thinking like senior citizens who need like extra nutrition. That's a whole nother category even.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that it's going to be great for so many people for sure. And then of course, hunger control, we've made so much buzz about that. I'm not going to touch upon that very much. But it's available for everybody now. So that's really exciting. So go out there and follow up like crazy with people. I have been messaging people, but that's a really good one to get samples and send it out to people. But I love that we have options now, and they're the foundation of our slims, right? Our microbiome activating slim and the hunger control slim. The foundation, I don't even know if that's not the right word, but the core of the product is the same for both of them. Maybe that's the right thing. The core of the product is the same for both of them. They're still regulating your blood sugar. They're still clinically demonstrated to help you lose weight. You know, all of the good stuff that's in the features and benefits. And there's just that one slight change between the hunger control and the prebiotics. But I mean, they both are going to help you, you know, with your sugar cravings and all these different things. So I love the different things. Okay. This is one thing that I can't believe I did not take notes on, but Christy Wright spoke, and she is an amazing business coach and so fun. I need to find out if she has a, what's it called? A podcast, because I'm curious to know if she has a podcast. She does have a podcast. Okay, so she also has a book, and you can get the first 6 chapters. Where is my stuff? The first 6 chapters for free. I can't find my picture. I can't find it. Does anybody have the website for that? Christy Wright. Does anybody, you guys know what I'm talking about? Oh, found it. Okay. It's called Business. What is it called? Business Boutique. Yeah. Well, I'll have to, if somebody here, I'm going to type a message here of what it is. Cause you text, bear with me, BB chapters to 44222. Okay. So if you text BB chapters, all in capital letters, to 44222, you can get the first 6 chapters of her book for free. But she was just super fun. She talked about kind of about time management a little bit. You guys are going to have to help me out here. I did a horrible, I was just so sucked into listening to her. Does anybody want to add anything about that? About Christy?
I was like you. I was not taking notes because I was kind of dripping on her every word. I'm trying to see if I took anything. Yeah. I don't know. Was she the one that talked about the learned helplessness?
No, that was Victor Antonio.
Okay. That was a different one then. Yep, I didn't take any notes on her.
We talked a lot about fear, and how fear is a normal part of our journey, and how if you're afraid, like if you feel fear, that doesn't mean that you're doing something bad. It just means that you're doing something bold, because a lot of times in our businesses, we feel a lot of fear when we're reaching out to our friends and family, or when we're reaching out to new people. So she was just really encouraging and motivating, and just moving past that fear to grow our business.
She said, if you're still scared, you're going to stay stuck.
Yeah.
But, later on, people talked about being scared, and that don't wait until I think this is in the senior gold. It, like, if you can't outrun fear. So just do it scared. Like,
right. Yeah. Do it anyway.
Yeah.
Get started.
Yeah. I mean, I would say doing this for more than 4 years, there's still things that I'm scared to do. So there's some things that get easier, but yeah, actually it's so funny because now that you guys say that, when I was on the airplane on the way there, I watched a movie, The Darkest Hour, and it's the story of when Winston Churchill was elected to be the prime minister during World War II. And at the very end of the movie, I have to find it. At the very end of the movie, it put up a quote that he had, and I loved it. And it says, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts." And I just thought that was like just so applicable to the whole convention, because like you're up there and you're seeing these people like Brooke Hemingway, who is top of convention contest, like super successful. Then you've got all of these diamonds, all of these sapphires, all of these emeralds, like all of these people that I know when I first started, I'm like, man, that's it. Like if you reach that, like you're successful. And I don't think anybody up there had ever said anything that like they felt like they had reached like their final capacity. Like, so it was just so neat to hear like success is not final. And John Maxwell talks so much about like failure and like you're not going to get better if you don't fail. Like you have to fail to move forward and to grow. And what Jenny just said with like Christy Wright is talking about like that fear and just like having the courage to continue. Like that's what this is all about. That's what, I mean, every year that I've been in Plexus, there's been somebody that says like people are like the people who are successful, regardless of what success looks like for anybody, but the ones that are considered successful, it's just because they've faced more no's, they've had more failures, and they've kept going. So that's just something for an encouragement. And I think that was a pretty good theme of like, you just keep doing this. So that was day 2. I think we're kind of doing okay on time. It's getting a little late. Because I want to get to some of the takeaways. But so day 2, the night of day 2, we had the dessert reception. And this is where like
this is where you and Jen had more fun than me, I think.
Yes. And Lynn.
So I totally missed that silent disco room.
Yes. So this is where like, I mean, all of convention is fun, but I will have to say hands down, this was my most favorite event that I have ever been to at convention. This even tops.
I think you need to post that. You need to post the video of Jen.
I should. But this literally tops, like, I thought, like, I'm a Kelly Clarkson lover. Kelly Clarkson played last year at convention. Like, this was more fun than Kelly Clarkson. Like, anyways, point being, I'm not going to go any much further into it. Point being, convention is fun. Okay. I hope you guys are having FOMO so that you'll go next year. Trying to rub it in just a little bit without making you guys feel bad. But anyways. Okay. Day 3, we had the morning started with our breakout sessions. And this is what I love that they do at convention is they have trainings by amazing diamonds who I look at these people, these women who do the trainings, And like, I have to kind of separate because there's still part of me that's like, well, we're network marketing. Like we're ambassadors. We don't have bosses, right? We're not in the corporate world. So for some reason in my mind, it's hard for me to so many of them are like stay-at-home moms. And so I think of them as like, oh, they're stay-at-home moms that are doing this. But then I'm like, no, these are women who, like, many of them worked in corporate America. And it's like these women could go and train like in the corporate world. Like they're that good. They're amazing speakers. They're amazing trainers. Like they're professional women. And they didn't all start like that. This is through a growth journey. But anyways, that's just that. But they always break it up to like ambassador to silvers, and the training that they receive there is applicable for where you're at in your business and that level. Then gold and senior gold, ruby is senior ruby, and then they have the emeralds are by themselves, sapphires are by themselves, and diamonds are by themselves. And so I just want to hear, I'm actually going to have Lynn go first, if that's okay, to share kind of her takeaway. Do you want, go ahead and unmute yourself. Tell us what session you were into. There, you're unmuted now.
Sorry, I'm not unmuted.
You're
I'm still
unmuted.
learning this thing. Okay, so I took so many notes in that little notebook, and I set it out to bring it with me so I'd have it for this tonight, and I don't have it with me. I left it sitting on my counter, and I'm at my mom's. But I have so much stuff that I took away. I'll just keep it down to like one or two. But the one main thing that I think has really been the biggest game changer for me is that I always feel like now that I've had time to ponder everything that we learned, I'm always putting up this front that things are great, things are wonderful. You know, I think I'm a figment of my own imagination sometimes. And one of the messages they said is to be more vulnerable. Not too much. Obviously, you don't want to take everybody down with you, but to be somewhat vulnerable in your posts or when you're pouring into the lives of people, because people aren't going to open up to you until you open up toward them first, and they see that, because then that creates a safe place for them to kind of trust you with their emotions, and that's really where we're all at anyway. So I've got a handful of really fun ideas of ways I'm going to approach that. But most of it is just being real, giving little snippets of real to my, call it, I don't know, Facebook followers or whatever you call it, or Instagram, coming, in the coming days. So I think that's the most important thing is don't worry. I was so worried about being like salesy, how do I post? How do I do this? It's like, I got to stop thinking about all of that and start thinking about just being vulnerable and pouring into the lives of people, and everything else is going to happen. So that's kind of it. The being vulnerable and at the same time pouring into the lives of other people. And I tend to be a very selfish person. So I feel like I want to wrap myself up right now in under construction tape, that yellow tape. I think I want to just wrap myself in that because that's what I feel like I'm under construction now. But these were major road blocks that I had to overcome. So I would say that's my biggest takeaway. And the tiny little third one, I say tiny, is when John Maxwell said that people approach him every so often and say, oh, hey, John, I think I'm going to write a book. What should I do? And he's like, well, I don't know, start writing, and it's kind of like, it's that simple. I don't need to worry about, the perfect day to come or the right time or the right results that I'm going to have with Plexus. Just need to basically symbolically start writing. Just start doing something. And something is always going to get you farther than nothing. Yep. So that's all I got.
I love it. Thank you so much, Lynn. Me and Lynn, we got to room together with Desiree and Sabrina, and we had a blast. And that's the other thing too about going to convention is, just getting to spend time with people and just, I don't know, there's just nothing like it anyways. So okay, before we move on to the gold senior gold session, I do see some other people on here that I didn't talk to ahead of time, so I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but I know that there's some others of you on here that were in that ambassador to silver group. Would you guys like to share anything? Do not feel like you have to, since I didn't talk to you ahead of time, but if you wanted to share just something of your takeaway, I know that we would love to hear it. So I'll give you a second. Anyone? Jennifer, you want to? Here, let me. There, you are unmuted.
I think my biggest takeaway was when I think it was Jennifer Lee talked about legacy mindset. And I am in my head a lot. I take forever to figure out a Facebook post. I'll do it in notes, and I'll just take like 30, 45 minutes, and sometimes it's too long. And she said, you have to change the mindset, and you have to work on it every single day. It doesn't take a day or two. It's a working progress. And yeah, that was probably my biggest takeaway. And Jen Hawkins was amazing. I have been following her for a long time on Facebook, and I don't remember what she said, but when she prayed over us, that was amazing. And I think it was our group with Kristen and some of her friends were standing outside, and I needed to go to the bathroom, and I ran back inside, and Jen was walking down the hallway, and I ran after her. And I talked to her for a little bit, and I started crying because it was amazing. And I walked away from convention just on fire. I talked to a guy in the airport my first time, so nervous, but an amazing convention for my first time going. But yeah, I learned a lot. I haven't really looked at my notes much today because I've been running errands and doing stuff, but it was amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. I love hearing, especially like people when it's their first convention and everything. So yeah. So she had, let's see, in the the ambassador and silver group, they had Jen Hawkins, Jennifer Lee, and I can't remember the other trainer that you guys had, but Jen Hawkins was awarded the One Plexus Award this year, and she's a double diamond in the company, and her speech was just so heartfelt. She was crying the whole time, and then when she called for her mom, and it was like everybody was crying. It's so neat because we hear about it, we talk about how amazing ambassadors are in this, in this community that we get to be a part of, but to actually be there and see them in real life, and to see that they're just as genuine, if not even more, in person than what we get to see online. It's super special. So another reason why you shouldn't miss next year. But okay, so let's go on to, I've asked both Jens to share their takeaways, and they were both in the senior gold group. So I don't know which one of you guys wants to jump in there first.
Okay, I can go first. So one of I have two big takeaways. One of them is just finding a running partner, and so and just how that can just really grow your business when you have someone to hold you accountable and push you harder, and to just brainstorm ideas with, that's on the same journey as you. And so Jen and I actually decided to team up, and so now we are running partners. And so I would really encourage anyone to find someone to do that with. There's a lot of people that are Jules now who recommended that or encouraged us to do that at convention. So that's one. And then another one of my takeaways is, am I doing takeaways overall or from this gold training session?
Whatever you want, whatever you feel led to just share with everybody.
Okay, so I'm going to get really real for a second and say that I was really looking forward to convention because I just wanted to, like, last year at convention, like, I just remember it really built my belief, and I really left just really encouraged. And so I was really excited for convention this year because that's what I really wanted. And after day one, like, I think that my belief was a little bit lower than whenever before I went. And because my mindset was just so awful all of day one. Like, there were so many people there. I was looking at people's name tags and comparing like what their rank was to mine. Like, it was just a total negative day for me. And I just it was rough. But then on day two, I think I really don't remember who it was. I want to say it was Brooke Hemingway, but I don't remember. But she was on stage, whoever it was, and she said that, there's plenty of room on this stage for anyone. God's blessings don't run out. And that just really spoke to me because in my mind, I was just like, there's not enough room for all of us up there. Like, there's not enough room for me to be up on that stage. By the time I reach jewel status, like, there will not be any more room to go to Hawaii. There will not be any more. Like, in my mind, it was just like, there's just not enough room for me. And she just completely called my mind, that negative mindset out. And she just said, like, there's plenty of room up here. So work for it and get up here. And so that was my big takeaway at convention this year. Again, like last year, I just left, if not probably more so than last year, just on fire and just ready to really work my business and work hard. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love hearing. I love hearing these stories because I think we all deal with it. Like, I think that's the thing is we don't realize that, you know, we trap ourselves in our mindset and we tell ourselves that we're the only one that feels that way. We're the only, you know, and it's something that everybody deals with. Like, everybody deals with. So, I mean, I just messaged my upline today with some negative mindset garbage that I was like, at least I recognize it. And it's so silly. You come back from convention and I'm already battling with it. So it's just something that you have to be very aware of and be willing to move past that, because if you're not careful, it can just spiral out of control quickly. And that's what, like, I want you guys to also take away from this too, just to reiterate this, is that you have a team of people around you that will do whatever you need to do. Like, if you're struggling with something, to be there for you to help get you out of that mindset funk. So don't ever feel like you're doing this alone. Like, you just have to, like, just reach out to somebody, because that's the cool thing is, like, here we are. We're not even talking about sharing products with people. We're talking about our mindset, and our mindset affects everything that we do. So even when Plexus is, if for whatever reason Plexus is no longer in your life, the things that you can learn from this and from the relationships in the community and just how to battle that mindset, it goes into everything that you do. And it kind of goes into what Aaron Bush talks about, of like taking what you learn and like building your legacy for your children and teaching your children how to overcome their mindset issues. So I think that's just something that's really powerful, that every year I take away from convention, that this is so much bigger than just sharing products with people. So anyways, we're going to go to this Jen over here next.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just going kind of piggybacking on what Jen said. They talked about in the Gold and Senior Gold training about how our brains are hardwired for short-term rewards, which that's the whole there's no room on the stage for me kind of thing. I mean, it's like you need to just dream big. I personally, I'd say my biggest, I came home with this, just saying it over and over in my head. There's been a shift. I felt a definite shift this year. I just did. It just felt like not just we're in the right place at the right time. I mean, it sounds so cliche because everybody says it all the time, but literally I've worked tons of jobs my whole life. I've just all sorts of different jobs. I have never felt so much passion and so much support and so much encouragement from a company, 11,000 people there. And I know that they all have my back. And I don't know half of, probably 3/4 of them. The other thing, let's see, I wrote down some notes here. There was two phrases that were said, and I can't remember if it was in the gold training or if it was overall, but they talked about more is caught than taught, meaning you catch that vision. When you get to convention and you're walking with all those people, and yes, it can be overwhelming. I mean, it can definitely be overwhelming. But when you're looking at this hotel that you're in, that we completely take over and completely decorate, and people are just walking all over the place, all with the same mindset, like hopefully that you're all there for a reason. You're there for you're there for your family, you're there for your children's children, you're there to change lives. Like Jen Hawkins, like we were talking about, she's a double diamond. She is such a she's been blessed with this opportunity what did she say? She's like completely funding an entire orphanage. Like, it's crazy. I mean, I just felt this major, major shift this year. I mean, last year was my first convention. And I went there and I came back and I was pumped and I had this great big belief. And like John Maxwell said, you can party today, but then get to work tomorrow. And that's what I did not do last year, is I came home with this, that's it. I'm going back as a Ruby. I'm not gonna let anything get in my way. And I did nothing for 2 months. I totally missed out on Leaders Retreat because of me, because I chose not to try to go for it. Where now this year I came home, I'm on the plane, I'm in the airport, and I'm writing out my plan. Okay, the next 3 months I'm going to do this. Okay, wait a minute. Just this month, wait a minute. Just this week I'm going to do this. Like I brought it way, way down. So it's not super overwhelming. Like, I'm going to be on that boat. I'm going to be on that cruise, but I got to do it week at a time, and just the support that you get from everybody. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it felt like church. Like, I think I felt closer to God there too. I mean, it's hard to even put into words. You have to experience it. It's so cool. Convention was off the charts this year, completely.
So true. There's just nothing like it. I mean, I remember the first time I ever went to convention, leading up to it, I was like, I kind of didn't want to go because I'm like, it's just going to be this rah, like everybody's screaming, blah, I love Flexit, and I was just like, that's not really me, but I mean, maybe there's that there, but it's not like fake. Like, people just, they I don't know how to explain it. I drank the pink drink and now I love it. Right? I think we've all done that. But okay, so after all of the breakout sessions, we had John Maxwell come and talk, and he is wonderful. And I have so many pages of notes from him, and I've read books of his, and I just continue to learn more and more. So some of the things that I wrote down for tonight that I wanted just to talk about, and I'm trying to find my notes on it, was this, hold on, no, it's not there. Like, this whole mentality of, like, what is it? Your best and then better. Like, he goes, oh, here we go. Like, he said, never be satisfied. And he meant by that is that he goes, for now and in the moment, like, he lives his life, like, when he's in the moment, he wants to give his best. So everything that he does, he is giving his ultimate best. And so he just encouraged us. He's like, give your best every day. He goes, but then don't be satisfied, so that then tomorrow you're working on being better than you were the day before. And I love that. And I love John Maxwell because it's so applicable to our businesses, but it's even more applicable to our life. And his book, he talked about his book, Developing the Leader Within You. And I just want to encourage you guys. I remember the first John Maxwell book that I read, and I was like, why am I reading this? I'm not a leader, right? Like, I'm not a leader yet. So why should I be reading a book on leadership? And it was so naive of me to think that way, because like if you wait until you're like in a leadership position, then you're like trying to catch yourselves up, right? And he always says that leadership, or everything rises and falls on leadership, and leadership is influence. Like it's nothing more, nothing less. And then you dig even further, and he talks about how do you gain influence is you add value to other people. And he didn't talk about this at convention, but I've read enough books of his and I've heard enough of his podcasts, and his goal every day is to every single interaction that he has with somebody is to add value to them in one way or another. And he even says that he tries to do it within the first 30 seconds of him talking to people. And so just this idea of, when you start adding value to somebody, you start gaining influence. And when you start getting influence, then you can start leading people. And I think we have this, because in Plexus, we see these, quote unquote leaders, like our diamond leaders and our uplines and all this stuff. And we think, oh, well, that's how I have to be if I'm going to be a leader, or I don't know if I can do that. And it's like, I've had to really strip back that mindset and that thought process on it, because that's not the only thing that leadership is. Like we get so laser focused on Plexus and being a leader within Plexus. But really it's about the people and the relationships and the people that are around us. And that wasn't from his notes. That's just what came out right now. I don't have notes on that. But I would just encourage you. I mean, like I said, there's so many notes, and if anybody wants to chime in on something that they took away from John, because he's shared different things like from his book. So I'd encourage you guys to get that developing the leader within you, and do it now before you feel like, oh, I need to lead these people now. Do it now. But he just, I don't know, so many things. And he even started off like talking about attitude, even like when you think of somebody that you admire, what's the first thing that you think about? And he said, do you admire them for their appearance? Do you admire them for their skills, or do you admire them for their attitude? And it's, for the most part, we admire people because of their attitude. And it's just a good reminder for us, and to know what our attitude is, and just being mindful of like perception too, right? Like when you have a certain attitude, especially at a thing like convention, but just that like you may be having a moment with somebody, but there's people around you watching like all the time. And it's like, what is the attitude that you are putting out there? Because that can affect a lot of different things. And I love like he talked about the attitude success cycle, where you test something, like do something every day that you've never done before. Like, so that's how you're going to grow, is by doing things that you've never done before. And he goes, and then you're going to fail at it. He's like, the first time that you write or that you do something, you're probably not going to be any good at it. So you're going to fail, but then you're going to learn from that. Then you're going to improve on it, and then you're going to do it all over again. And I could really dig more into that. That could be a whole training on itself. But yeah, I mean, it's just so many things. And you know what, we're going late. I'll post it on the Facebook page, on the team page. But, because I wanted to leave you guys before I do this. Does anybody else have anything to add from convention? Because like I said, it's getting late, and so I want to kind of wrap this up.
I just want to add one little thing. Someone, and I think it was in our gold training, they talked about keep your eye on the prize, and it's not a rank. Like, I would love to rank up to senior gold, and then I'd love to get ruby, and I want this cruise trip and everything like that. Like, goals are great, and set them and go for them. But just remember what you're gaining along the way. Like, God has given us this opportunity for us giving back. That's giving back to God then as well. Like, it's not a rank. I mean, you're helping, look at all the people, like you said, go for leaders retreats. If you don't make it, you're still helping people. You're still getting they're getting the products in their hands. You're changing their lives. Like that, that was just big for me.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But there were just so many other little takeaways. Like I said, I'm going to do my darndest. Emery, do you see who that is? Look. Can you tell who it is? And she was like, that's Jenny is when Emery was in first grade, Jenny was her teacher. So that's always
fun.
But what was I saying? All of the different little speeches and little nuggets. I really want to get Tarl and Alex speeches that they did. Those are the best ones that they have done. Just to hear the heart of these men who are leading this company is incredible. And the One Plexus Awards with Jen Hawkins and Sarah Marble, all of the different jewels who spoke to represent. I posted Aaron Bush's today. But really, I loved Alita Allen. Actually, real quick, when they announced the Over Yonder K winners, that was like the most precious thing in the whole entire world. I know I see Jen like it was just so sweet to see all of that. So I actually do have videos of those that I need to share. But then Alita Allen, she's a Sapphire now. But last year she shared her story that her husband passed away, I think a month before convention last year, y'all, like crazy. And she went Emerald after he passed away. She's now as a Sapphire, but she always writes songs and she sings, and she wrote a song when she found out that this convention was called Legacy. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. So I'll have to grab that and post it on the team page as well. But just know that you guys are part of something that's really, really special. And I mean, it's just continue to immerse yourself into this community, because like I said, this goes beyond just helping people. We know that these products are absolutely changing people's lives, and we know that the business is absolutely changing lives. But really, one of my most favorite things is just all of you guys in the community and the friendships that I've made over the years. And it is true that we are having an opportunity to really build a legacy through this company. And it's something super special. I mean, Plexus is different, really different. So be proud of that, and get excited about next year's convention, and get excited about Leaders Retreat and Consistency Club and just all the different things, because when we achieve those things, that means more lives have been changed, kind of like what Jen was saying. So I just really appreciate you guys jumping on, those of you that jumped on tonight, and then also those of you guys watching the recording. I know that this was one of our longer team little get-togethers, but it was definitely needed and worth it to spend the evening with you guys. So that's all I have to say, and yeah, I guess we'll just see you guys later. All right, see you guys. Bye.